All right, so it is 4:30. We'll go ahead and call the May 16th, 2022 meeting to order. We'll start with our Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by Chad Mincer. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, it's thanks, beautiful day. Thank you for just letting us all gather. Please bless us as we be true servant leaders of our community, Lord. Continue to bless our mental health professionals and all citizens of Madisonville as we go throughout our week. Continue to bless us, and please give us discernment as we make decisions tonight. In His name we pray. Amen.
Kim, can we have a roll call?
Yes, sir. Misty Cavanaugh. Here. Tony Space.
Here.
Adam Townsend.
Here.
Amy Cruz.
Present.
Frank Stevenson.
Here.
Chad Mincer.
Here.
Mayor, we do have a quorum.
All right, our first order of business is a beach bash update. And we have with us the airport superintendent, Emily Herron.
Good evening. Hope everybody's doing well. Just wanted to give a quick update on the Beach Bash event that we had out at the airport back on the weekend of April 29th and 30th. It was our first event of this kind. Basically, what it was is it's a fly-in for a specific aircraft type. So Beechcraft Bonanzas are the main aircraft that flew in, but there was other Beechcraft aircraft, and then other people flew in their airplanes just to come in and enjoy the festivities as well. But it was kind of geared towards Beechcraft owners, so that's why we called it Beach Bash. We had over 62 airplanes in, which was less than we were expecting when we first found out how many people were interested, but more than I was expecting when it got down to that week because of some weather concerns that there were. So we were very excited about the turnout that we had. It was a really good number of people that were in. Everybody was, able to be taken care of. It wasn't super overwhelming, which was nice. We estimate about 150 people total that were there, and just kind of to give you a little rundown of what went on. People flew in as early as Thursday afternoon. Most of our arrivals were on Friday, so they flew in just at different times throughout the day on Friday. We had shuttles with city employees, city volunteers that drove shuttles back and forth between the airport and the two hotels where there were blocks of rooms, the Holiday Inn and the Hampton Inn. So people came in. We also had city volunteers driving golf carts, so some of the airplanes had to park somewhat away from where the terminal area is, so they would drive the golf cart out, pick up the people with their luggage, and drive them back to the terminal, and then they would take a shuttle to town to get settled into their hotel. A lot of people went out to eat Friday night for dinner, different places in town. I know a big group went to Country Cupboard, and then went over to Jimmy Riddle's house and had some good fellowship there. And then on Saturday, we started out with a pancake breakfast by the Lions Club, Madisonville Lions Club, came and served pancake breakfast for everybody. And we had the materials, or the ingredients for the pancakes, and the sausage was donated. Calhoun's donated some sausage, and then another private donor donated some of the pancake mix and that type of thing. But the Lions Club prepared it all and served it. We had a coffee truck, and then we also had that morning, we had several speakers. The speakers were probably the biggest draw for the people that we had there. We had speakers from some of the probably largest general aviation organizations in the country. We had the president of AOPA, which is the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, which is the largest and probably most well-known general aviation association in the country, and probably around the world as well. And then we had the executive director of the American Bonanza Society, so especially for Beechcraft and Bonanza pilots, that's a very, very well-known organization. So they were both speakers. Scott Perdue, who was with Flywire Magazine, which is a well-known magazine in aviation, and then several other speakers that came and talked on different topics as well, more geared towards Beechcraft and Bonanza owners and pilots. So we had a great lineup of speakers, and all of the speakers were coordinated by a gentleman named Sam Gergis, who owns some property near Dawson Springs. He lives in Fort Myers, Florida, but he's up in Hopkins County, usually at least a couple of times a year. He comes every fall and stays usually for about a month. So he flies in and out of our airport and has known us for a while. We help, take care of him. We put his airplane in the hangar while he's here and things like that. So this was kind of all his idea. Last fall, he kind of came to me and said, hey, why don't we have a fly-in and for Bonanza owners? And I said, sure, invite your friends. It'll be great. We'll, have a few airplanes in and have a good time. And it ended up turning into quite a large event, and we're very excited to keep it going annually. After our speakers spoke, and during some of the speakers, we also had lunch served by local food trucks. I think we ended up having 4 or 5 local food vendors that were there throughout the day. And then we also had Kings Highway come and play bluegrass music. So they were there entertaining everybody while they ate their lunch. The speakers continued on probably to about mid-afternoon. And then some people left. Some people just flew in for the day, Saturday morning, and then flew out Saturday afternoon. People who were staying the whole weekend were then shuttled to the Bard Distillery over in Graham, where they took a tour of the distillery, and then they were shuttled to Jimmy Riddle's farm out of Muhlenberg County, and we just had dinner. Mark Metcalf cooked, and had a good, relaxing evening out at the farm at Jimmy's, and that was pretty much the conclusion of all the things we had planned. Sunday morning, everybody was gone by 9:30, so lots of departures early morning. Sunday, we had coffee and donuts for everybody Sunday morning. Since the event, we have had nothing but positive feedback from all of the attendees that we've all spoken to. I know there have been several people who have emailed, written letters, and called just to thank us for such a great weekend. I'm very proud of my staff at the airport, but also of all of the city volunteers that we had driving shuttles, including our prestigious mayor here. Everybody was very impressed that the mayor of a town was not only knew about the airport and was at the airport, but was also driving everybody around in a shuttle. So that was, that's something a lot of people don't see, especially around airports. They don't see a local government and a local official that is involved and as involved with the airport as not just our mayor, but all of you are, our airport committee and everybody. So thank you guys for what you do. It made a huge difference for this event and makes a huge difference for us every day. But so we had, like I said, lots of city volunteers driving shuttles, driving golf carts, helping us park airplanes. Couldn't have done it without all of the people. Emily Locke, our public relations director, was literally, we couldn't have done this event without her. She was a huge, huge help to me and keeping me sane whenever things were kind of being thrown in last minute and I was losing my mind. Thankfully, it all came together and worked out wonderfully. We had lots of support from Hopkins County Tourism, Madisonville Tourism, and then, like I said, some other private donors and people who donated their time and their resources, food, different things. We sold 1,600 gallons of avgas, which totaled to almost $9,000 in sales, which is huge for a 3-day span of time for that particular fuel especially. So we were thankful to have our little avgas truck that we had gotten in just a couple of days before that event so that we could get everybody fueled and taken care of while their airplane was parked on the grass. And we've already begun preparation for the second annual Beach Bash, which will take place the last weekend in April of 2023. We are expecting the event to probably double and potentially triple, so we're making preparations for that now, but it was a great event, and we're excited for it to grow.
Emily, can you fill us in on maybe some of the states that were represented?
Yeah, so we had folks in from, let's see, we had Kansas, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Ohio, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Arkansas, Texas. I don't remember anybody, probably Texas was probably, I think somebody from Oklahoma. I think Texas was probably the furthest. Texas and Kansas were the furthest away, but we had people from all over not just the Southeast, but the Midwest and central United States. And so there was a lot of people who, took a decent little flight just to get here. And so we're thankful that so many people came and had a good time.
Great job. We appreciate all that you all were able to pull off out there on that weekend. Are there any questions for Emily or comments?
Good job.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we'll have a proclamation. We have some physicians in attendance with us from Baptist Health Deaconess Madisonville. And this is a mental health awareness proclamation. And it says, whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, all Americans face challenges in life that can impact their mental health, and mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our nation. And whereas prevention is an effective way to reduce the burden of mental health conditions, and there are practical tools that all people can use to improve their mental health and increase resiliency, and whereas the effective treatment individuals with mental health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives, and whereas each business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizens share the burden of mental health problems and has a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention efforts. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Kevin Cotton, Mayor of the City of Madisonville, Kentucky, do hereby proclaim May 2022 as Mental Health Month in the City of Madisonville and call upon the citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools to recommit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health, the steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health, and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental health conditions, so presented on the 16th day of May 2022. So if our physicians would please join us up in front of the bench, we will present you with this proclamation. We're going to have you all face that way. Sure. Thank you so much for all that you do. We appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, sir. Ma'am. And we will let you kind of hold that. All right. Thank you all very much. And if you all want to take a moment to speak, we'll let you go over to the podium and you can have a moment.
I guess they're going to speak.
I would just simply say thank you very much. It is incredibly heartening to know about the support that the city has for what we're doing with mental and behavioral health. So I really, really appreciate it. So thank you all.
Yeah, I want to echo the same thing. Dr. Gilly and I have been working on the behavioral health unit for the last few years. Meredith has been there working with us as well, and hopefully Dr. Whitney Gilly will join us at some point. But we really do appreciate and really value the recognition. I think sometimes there's a lot of stigma with regards to mental illness, and the fact that we are recognizing that there are needs and people aren't broken or these aren't character flaws, I think really helps in moving things forward. So I want to also express my gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tell them they're welcome to stay, but we got about 40 more minutes.
Yeah, you all are welcome to stay for the remainder of the council, but there is probably going to be another 45 minutes, so it is not rude if you decide to leave. Sorry, Adam, you need to stay. All right, next we will have the approval of the minutes from the City Council regular meeting on May 2nd.
The regular meeting of the Madisonville City Council was held on May the 2nd, 2022 at 4:30 p.m. It's called to order by Mayor Kevin Cotton. We had the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Police Chief Steve Bryan. The mayor and all city council members were present for the meeting. We had approval of the minutes. We also had approval of bills and payroll. We had council committee reports. We also had, we had council committee reports from the Joint City Council and the Tourism Advisory Board, where we had several reports of that that were adopted during that time. We also have a ordinance that we had first reading to accept public street or alleyway and authorizing the closing of same. We had a resolution to accept a bid for the erection of the steel building at the Madisonville Municipal Airport was approved. We also had a resolution to accept the bid of the electrical package for the steel building at the Madisonville Municipal Airport was approved. We had a permission to contract services from a business owned by an immediate family member of a city employee was approved. We had a proclamation of Building Safety Month and a professional municipal clerks week and an adjournment.
Do we have any corrections to the minutes? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we'll move on to the approval of the City Council special call meeting on May 4th, 2022.
The special call meeting was held in the mayor's the mayor's conference room at City Hall on May the 4th, 2022. It started at 8:00 a.m. It was called to order by Mayor Kevin Cotton. The mayor and all city council members but Misty Cavanaugh were present. We had a budget review from every department superintendents, and then we had an adjournment.
Are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the May 4th meeting?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we'll move on to the approval of bills and payroll.
We have the total general fund of $240,309.24, total sanitation of $69,881.81, total electric utility of $119,2722, water and filter $51,681.04, and total wastewater collection and treatment of $87,009.27. We have an estimated biweekly payroll in governmental of $53,327. Police, $139,962, fire, $137,675, transportation of $35,923, cemetery of $9,540, park, $16,000, sanitation of $39,251, light fund of $84,828, water and filter of $50,577, wastewater treatment of $16,802, and wastewater collection of $39,377 for an estimated biweekly payroll of $623,261.
Do I have a motion to approve the bills and payroll?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have the old business of the second reading of an ordinance accepting the public street or alley or way and authorizing the closing of same.
Yes, whereas the following described street, alleys, or way have been dedicated as public streets, alleys, or ways by reference to same and various deeds filed of record in the Hopkins County Court Clerk's Office, and whereas the City of Madisonville desires to accept the dedication of said streets, alleys, or ways so that same may be legally closed as herein provided, and whereas all property owners who abut the public streets, alleys, or ways have consented in writing for the proposed closing of the street, alley, or way, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Madisonville, Kentucky, that dedication of the following described streets, alleys, or ways are hereby accepted by the City of Madisonville, and the following findings of fact are made with reference thereto. An alley approximately 10 feet in width extending from Wells Avenue in an easterly direction to the L&N Railroad, bounded on the north by property owned by the Greater Life Apostolic Church of Madisonville, Incorporated, and bounded on the south by the property owned by the Greater Life Apostolic Church of Madisonville, Incorporated. Number 2, the Greater Life Apostolic Church of Madisonville, formerly known as First Pentecostal Church of Madisonville, is the record title owner of the property abutting the alley by the virtue of the following deeds of conveyance.
You don't have to read A through, yeah.
Thank you. I have attached on the screen the map, as you can see, where the piece of property is on the alley. Written notice of the proposed closing was given on the owner of the properties in or abutting the public streets, alleys, or ways being closed, and the sole property owner in or abutting the public streets, alleys, or way being closed has given its written notarized consent to the closing, and a copy of the written consent is attached here too. Upon entry of the ordinance adopted by the City of Madisonville, closing of the alley will be reverted to the following property owner whose properties physically abut the alleys to the midpoint or center thereof. Accordingly, based upon the findings of fact herein, it is hereby ordered and ordained that the public streets, alleys, or way described herein are hereby closed effective upon publication of the ordinance. A copy of the ordinance shall be filed of record in the Hopkins County Court Clerk's Office as required by KRS 82.405, subsection 2.
Right. Do I have a motion to approve the ordinance? Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Kim, can we have a roll call?
Misty Cavanaugh,
Yes.
Tony Space,
Yes.
Adam Townsend,
Yes.
Amy Cruz,
Yes.
Frank Stevenson,
Yes.
and Chad Menser.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Next, we're going to move on to council committee report. We have a budget committee report from the chair, Frank Stevenson.
Mr. Mayor, as chair of the Budget and Finance Committee, I would like to put into the record comments for background to the depth and breadth of the challenges facing the budget preparation for the coming 2022-2023 fiscal year for the city of Madisonville. Over the course of my tenure on the city council, I have witnessed a record of fiscal responsibility that is the envy of many other cities across the state and nation. This history has included reducing by better than half the general fund long-term debt from around $22 million to less than $10 million. This reduction in indebtedness was accomplished while continuing to maintain services, yet living within our fiscal means. While exercising fiscal responsibility, the city nevertheless is impacted by financial pressures, most of which are beyond our control, producing a growing fiscal wave that has now unavoidably come upon our shores. These pressures come from a variety of sources. One is just the year-to-year inflation in the cost of goods, services, and payroll, with the current fiscal year now spiking to 8.5% annualized inflation. In restraining payroll costs over the years, the city over the last year has faced the impact of failing to maintain a reasonably competitive wage and salary structure in order to recruit and retain the necessary staff to provide essential services. Additionally, the current year experience with inflation in supply and labor costs has substantially driven up the expense of just doing the things we have done and must do for city services to the community we serve. Some of those increases have been as much as double or quadruple previous levels. With regard to health plan expense, despite innovative efforts to increase utilization efficiencies for healthcare services, those expenses have more than doubled since 2018, an increase of $1.2 million. There is then the major increase over the years since 2018 of the CERS retirement contribution from the city. This burden has been absorbed year after year with scaling back where possible and transfer of reserves where available, again to avoid cutting services or raising taxes as many cities in Kentucky have done. This heavy financial burden on cities to shore up the retirement system is the fruit of more than 2 decades of previous state legislative and executive leadership neglecting its fiduciary responsibility by failing to ever fund the actuary recommended contribution and compounding its irresponsibility by taking monies from the retirement trust that had been set aside to pay for general fund budget expenditures at the state. Cities were funding their part, but the state was not fulfilling its statutory commitment. 2018 was the year that a plan was finally implemented to salvage the retirement system, the weight of which fell upon the cities themselves. Madisonville has experienced an increase of almost $2 million since 2018. One final element to recognize in this budgetary storm that has put us in the proverbial between a rock and a hard place, the essential infrastructure of water and sewer services. Again, for background and context, it is important to note that there has not been a change in the rate for city water services since 2003 and no change in the sewer rate since 2008. The net impact of that reality is that since 2019, the city is losing money in those departments, $500,000 in fiscal year 2020 and $1.4 million in 2021, with the current fiscal year continuing that increasing loss. These losses are just in maintaining current services with no reserve for infrastructure maintenance and expansion of the capacities necessary to accommodate growth in demand as the city seeks to draw new businesses and residents. This is the budgetary background to the fiscal challenge before the council as we face a projected $4 million plus deficit, even with cutting even basic capital requests, juggling and working with what we have, and virtually having the state recommended cost of living payroll adjustments. We have, as the expression goes, hit the wall in terms of our budget situation. And I just wanted to share, as chair of the Budget and Finance Committee, this information and this perspective as we contemplate what we may responsibly consider in meeting this financial challenge to our city.
Thank you very much, Frank. Appreciate your work as we have worked through this budget. Appreciate the Budget Committee and the council. I also want to say that the department heads worked hard to try to find that balance between the fact that we need to care for our failing infrastructure, looking forward to install new infrastructure to continue to grow. We saw in those budget meetings that there were no unrealistic requests in those budget requests. But with that being said, it is a challenge, and we knew coming in 2019, we made the statements that the biggest challenge that we were facing was in fact that retirement. And it has shown to be a challenge of $1.9 million more per year that we're having to pay than we paid in 2018. Our health insurance, as you heard from Chairman Stevenson, has increased by $1.2 million, and that's after the efforts that we have put into place to reduce those overall liabilities by providing some additional benefits to our team to help reduce the liability and the cost associated with the health insurance. Payroll increases are inevitable in this day and time. I mean, if you go anywhere in the city, you're going to see the struggles and challenges in every business that is facing the same thing, and that is a help wanted sign on their front door. Their hours are having to change. Their services are changing. The way that they are providing their services are having to adapt to the fact that they don't have enough staff to be able to do what needs to be done. In order for the city of Madisonville to maintain just the level of services that we provide currently, we had to make those payroll adjustments in order to maintain the staffing levels that we had. When we talk about the cost and inflation and we look at those numbers, fuel cost alone, we're all dealing with it. Everybody at home is dealing with it. Well, we deal with the same struggles and challenges in the city. Just because we are a city government doesn't mean that we don't have those same struggles. Inventory cost, I have just two instances from our wastewater collections. From 6-inch pipe that we use to replace our sewer pipes, it has went up 232% in 2 years. An 8-inch pipe has went up almost 250%. That's just two items that we're looking at in our wastewater collections. And guess what? There's no fix for that. We have to pay those increases. Our auditor has warned us for years, 10, 12 years, that our rates were too low in water and sewer and that we're going to have to increase them. For years we have heard that. This year we saw and heard that we have struggles in the tune of $1.5 million in losses in just last year alone, not including the current year budget that we're in. We can only absorb so much of that, pulling it out of savings, just like at home. When you're working on those savings and you're pulling that money out, we can only do that for so long. So during this budget, there is a proposal that is to increase our water rates, and it will increase at the rate of $4.33 per 1,000 gallons. That is the first increase, as you heard from Chairman Stevenson, since 2003. There's not one item today that you can buy that you're going to pay the same price that you paid in 2003. Same thing with sewer rates. That increase will be going to increase of $6.50 per 1,000 gallons. That one has not increased since 2008. But built into that increase is the opportunity for the city to continue to grow at the rate that we're growing. The investments that we have to put in for the future of our kids and our grandkids. The infrastructure that is going to have to be put in so that we can look into 40 years down the road. It doesn't just affect us, it affects the entire county. We provide sewer services for not only the city of Madisonville, but for Hanson, Arlington, and even out inside of the county. Our occupational license fee is going to be increasing from 1.5% to 2.5%. The last increase that we had in the occupational license fee was in 1979. I was 4 years old the last time the occupational license fee was increased. You couldn't even buy a bottle of water in 1979, but you sure wouldn't have paid what you pay for it today. When we're looking at the increases of the things that we have zero control over, which is the retirement, which is the health insurance, we all want and continue to desire to have one of the safest cities in Kentucky. When you pick up that phone and dial 911, you want that law enforcement officer to be there within 3 to 5 minutes. If you want that to continue, we have to pay for that service. Right now, we have, anywhere else in the county, the city of Madisonville has the lowest insurance rates for residential insurance. And that's because we have a fire department that's fully staffed and funded by this council. In order for that to continue, we have to find those revenue streams to help offset those costs. Our property tax is 12 cents per hundred. Henderson is 49 cents. Hopkinsville is 24 cents. Tangible personal property tax, Madisonville is 15.59. Henderson is 81. Hopkinsville is 25. We are not proposing any increase in those tax rates. We want those tax rates to stay at the lowest in the region. So as we are attracting new families and attracting new businesses into our community, we are attractive. Even with the rate increases of $4.33 per 1,000 gallons on water and $6.50 per 1,000 gallons on sewer, we are still lower than anywhere else in the county that you can live. So our insurance rates are still lower, our water and sewer rates are still lower, and our property taxes are considerably lower than anywhere else in the region. Based off of census.gov numbers, 75% of the people who work in the city limits of Madisonville live outside the city limits of Madisonville. That's why you see us looking at that occupational license fee versus those property tax fees, because those 75% of that workforce enjoy the services that we provide in our community. When they have an accident on our streets, who's going to respond? Our police, our fire, our city services will be there to support them. When they go to the restroom to use the water to wash their hands, guess what? It's the city of Madisonville's water filter plant that filtered it. It's our water department that made sure that it got to that facility. And God forbid that we have to cut services and cut them out of sewer, and when you flush that commode, it doesn't disappear. We have to have those services, and we need those services. We have right now enough businesses and industries and retail looking into our community to set our future up for the next 40 years. But without that critical infrastructure, it won't happen. We hear all the time, we want more, we want more, we need more. The only way we're going to get those things is by the investment that we're going to have to put in to our infrastructure. 2 of our updated core values in the city are innovative vision, committing to take the city from its present state to a better future through challenging the status quo and absorbing feedback to improve sustainability, making decisions with an understanding of how those decisions will impact the environment, people, communities, and finances both today and in the future. Every one of us will feel these increases, myself included. My business is affected. My home is affected. Your home will be affected. But unfortunately, these are things that should have been done long before now, long before 1979. But now we are faced with the tough decisions to make this happen. And this budget has been one of the most challenging budgets that we've had to work on because of the things that we have zero control over. So I want to say to the council, well done. Thank you for your input. Thank you for going through that budget and understanding what it is that our departments need in order to continue to provide the level of services that this community expects. I appreciate each one of you. I appreciate the input that you have given us, and I thank you for allowing me to serve as your mayor in these tough times. So with that being said, we will go to the first reading of some ordinances. The first ordinance is adopting the annual budget for July 1, 2022. There will be no vote tonight.
Be it ordained by the City of Madisonville, Kentucky as follows. Whereas an annual budget proposal and message has been prepared and delivered to the City Council, and whereas the City Council has reviewed such budget proposal and made necessary modifications, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Madisonville, Section 1, the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July the 1st, 2022, and ending June the 30th, 2023, is hereby adopted as follows. You'll have to see Exhibit A, which is attached here too, and then also Section 2, pursuant to Chapter 34.06 of the City of Madisonville Code of Ordinances, the classification and compensation plan is adopted as follows, and that is attached here as Exhibit B. Exhibit A is there, and then the Exhibit B is also attached.
Right, next we have the ordinance amendment to Chapter 110.03 Code of Ordinances relating to the occupational license fee.
Be it ordained by the City of Madisonville, Kentucky as follows, that Section 110 of the City of Madisonville Code of Ordinances related to the occupational license fee payment requirement is hereby amended as follows. On Section A, except as provided in Division B of this section, every person or business entity engaged in any business for profit and any person or business entity that is required to make a filing with the Internal Revenue Service or the Kentucky Revenue Cabinet shall be required to file and pay to the city an occupational license fee for the privilege of engaging in such activities within the city. The occupational license fee shall be measured by 2.5% of, and it'll be Section 1 and Section 2. There's no changes on that. It's the wages and the net profits from businesses.
Next, we have an ordinance amending Chapter 51 concerning electric, and before Kim reads it, I do want to explain this just a little bit. If you currently pay $100 a month for your electric bill, even after this change, you're still going to be paying $100 a month for your electric bill. The change is in cleaning up the billing piece of it and aligning it with our city ordinances. And there's been a lot of questions about the PCA and what that looks like. The PCA is a power cost adjustment, and that needs to be cleaned up and put where it belongs. So you'll see all of that being moved to the top of your bill under electric, and then the PCA only comes in if there is a power cost adjustment. With that being said, I am proud to say that the hard work of our electric department and Superintendent Chris Melton has been able to not only keep us with Kentucky MEA, which is the organization that we have joined to provide you with your power. He has been able to keep those power rates the same since 2018. So there have been no increases in your electric bill rates since 2018. With that being said, right now, if you just take a residential comparison, this was as of May the 11th, we are currently about $45 less than Kenergy, and we are about $20 less than Kentucky Utilities when you're looking at the rates based off of a residential usage. So once again, here's another utility that we are cheaper than anybody else. So we're cheaper than our competitors on water, sewer, taxes, and electric. But with that being said, this change in this ordinance is just cleaning up the billing to make it align with our ordinances. Kim?
And I'm reading what is changed on this ordinance. An ordinance amending Chapter 51 concerning electric, be it ordained by the City of Madisonville, Kentucky as follows. Chapter 51 of the City of Madisonville Code of Ordinance relating to electric utilities is hereby amended as follows. Section 51.10, electrical rate structure, RS1, residential service. The energy charge, all kilowatt hours, or is that right, kilowatt hour?
Yes.
Is changed to 0.09968 per kilowatt hour. This small general electric service on Section 5111 has been deleted. And then on the 51.13, the large general services, the kilowatt hour change has been changed to 0.0666 per kilowatt hour. And then the Section 51.14, the customer service choice, GS2SS, the energy charge, all kilowatt hours, is changed to 0.06666 per kilowatt hour. And then we're gonna, the 51.25 small general service GS1A, the first 5,000 kilowatt hour is changed to 0.1169, and the above 5,000 kilowatt hour is 0.0846. C, any GS1A customer which has a tax-exempt status under IRC Section 501 may elect to be charged an alternate GS1A rate, which shall be a customer charge of $18.03 per month and an energy charge of 10 and 8700 cents per kilowatt hour. On Section 51.26, the large general services GS2A, the energy charge all kilowatt hour is 0.669. The Section 51.27, the periodic rate adjustment has been deleted. We're going to Section 51.27, the large industrial high load factor HLF rate schedule. We're going to go to number 3 of the charge is now 0.6132 cents per kilowatt hour. And then the Section 51.28 large industrial high consumption rate schedule GS2GE has been changed. The designation large industrial high consumption rate schedule GS2GE. B, the availability in any area served by the Madisonville Municipal Utilities electric system in accordance with the MMU's terms and conditions for providing electric service. C, the application to any large power customer for all electric power and energy requirements that do not fall below 4,000 kilowatt average within a 12-month period and a 60% load factor. In addition, the customer shall contract for year-round permanent service and shall provide satisfactory guarantees or contribution to satisfy the expenditure necessary to provide the desired service. Each premises will be supplied only at one point of delivery, and all electric service supplied will be measured through 1 meter. This schedule is not applicable for temporary, breakdown, standby, supplementary, resale, or shared electric service. Type the service 3-phase 60 hertz with secondary voltages of 120/208, 120/240, and 277/480, primary voltages of 7200/12470, or other voltages as might be mutually agreeable. The monthly charge, customer charge, $2,587.50 per month. Demand charge, $16.909 per kilowatt for each kilowatt billing demand energy. Charge $0.055975 per kilowatt hours. The billing demand shall be greater of the maximum 15-minute peak demand kilowatt measured during the billing month. Number 2, 60% of the highest demand established in the preceding 11 months. Or number 3, 20% of the customer's contract demand, the kilowatt. The minimum billing charge shall be the above rate, shall be the established demand charge per the above criteria, energy and customer charge of a customer charge plus a facilities investment charge of $1 per kVA of installed transformer capacity or requested by the customer, whichever is greater. The power factor, this rate schedule is subject to a power factor charge as defined in the customer's energy services contract and/or this rate schedule. The fuel cost adjustment and power cost adjustment, the above rates are subject to a fuel adjustment cost and/or power adjustment cost as specified in MMU's rules and regulation. The payment bills are due and payable when rendered and become delinquent on the 15th day after date of issue. A penalty of 10% may be added to all such bills.
Again, for a point of clarification, if you are currently paying $100 for your electric bill, you will be paying $100 for your electric bill once this change is put into place. So that does not change. It's the same rate. It's just cleaning up the bill under the ordinance to make it match. So, all right, next we will move on to an ordinance amending Chapter 52 relating to water and sewer.
Okay, and again, I'm just going to read the changes. Section 52.11 of the City of Madisonville Code of Ordinances relating to water rates is hereby amended as follows. The minimum water bill for retail service within the city shall be $13 per month, and each water customer shall be entitled to 1,000 gallons or less of water. Thereafter, the following metered charges shall be made for each 1,000 gallons of water consumption per month to the customers of all size connections. The number of gallons of water per month, first 1,000 gallons or less minimum, is $12.99 for the monthly charge. The next 19,000 gallons is $6.98, and the next 3,980,000 gallons is $6.98. The minimum water bill for retail service beyond the city limits shall be $19.48. The number of gallons per monthly charge per 1,000 gallons, the first 1,000 gallons or less minimum is $19.49. The next 19,000 gallons is $10.47, and the next 3,980,000 gallons is $8.31. And then we're going to go to all customers other than the wholesale customers beyond the city limits shall be billed $11.63 per month based on water usage for each 1,000 gallons of water consumption. The minimum sewer bill for all customers shall be $23.26 per month based on water usage of 2,000 gallons or less in each month. Wholesale customers beyond the city limits shall, as a minimum, be billed for operation, maintenance, and replacement cost of the sewer system. The sewer rate for wholesale customers beyond the city limits shall be $3.75 per 1,000 gallons based on readings of wastewater meter. For consumers who purchase between 4,500,000 and 7 million gallons of waters per month, the sewer rate for that month shall be $9 per 1,000 gallons. For consumers who purchase more than 7 million gallons of water per month, the sewer rate for that month shall be $6.75. And that is the only changes that I have on that.
Right, next.
I have a question. I know we don't normally do ask for questions or comments on a first reading, but I do see there are some people here that may not be able to make a second reading where we normally do open up for questions or comments. Is there any way we could see if anybody has anything? I mean, I don't related, and there may not be, but I just saw some people out there that I haven't seen at a meeting before, and I wondered if they wanted to have the chance, opportunity to speak. I want to give them a
Absolutely.
chance.
Do we have anyone that would like to address the council? Okay, thank you very much. I would like to recognize in the crowd with us tonight is Corey Elder with Congressman Jamie Comer's office. We appreciate your work and partnering with the city on many projects. And as you know, one of those projects is our West Knoll Interceptor project, so we appreciate any help and support that we can get from you all on that. We will move on to our resolutions. We have a resolution to apply for grant funds for recreational trails program.
Whereas the city of Madisonville proposes to develop recreational resources to provide for the health and well-being of the general public, and whereas the city of Madisonville intends to make application to the Department for Local Government for assistance under the Recreation Trails Program, and whereas the Recreation Trails Program is limited to funding of a project up to $250,000. Now therefore be it resolved that the city of Madisonville hold and reserve proposed project costs for the purpose of matching the Recreation Trail Program's assistant, and be it further resolved that in the event a grant is awarded, the city of Madisonville understands that it will sign assurance to comply with all applicable federal and state laws, rules, and regulations, especially Title VI of the Civil Rights Act and Section 504 of the 1973 Rehabilitation Act.
This grant is to apply for up to $250,000 for a project to upgrade the trails at the city park. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
So move.
Second?
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Are there any questions?
Is this a 50-50 match, or is this just a 80-20? Okay.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have items for discussion. We have a new utility connection for water.
Yes, this is a utility connection for John Laird of 2041 Mullins Lane, and it is for water service.
It has been signed off by Debbie Todd.
And the map is available.
And it's also been signed off by Keith Browning. Do I have a motion to approve the utility connection? Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have an appointment of LeBaron McAdoo to Tourism Advisory Board.
Yeah, I have a wrong date on this. I'm sorry about that. It shall be and hereby is ordered by the City Council of the City of Madisonville, Kentucky as follows, that LeBaron McAdoo shall be and hereby is appointed to the Tourism Advisory Board, that the term of LeBaron McAdoo shall end on December the 31st, 2022, and that LeBaron McAdoo shall serve in accordance with the laws of the United States and Commonwealth of Kentucky and the ordinances of the City of Madisonville. This order shall be effective upon adoption by the City Council.
Do I have a motion to approve the appointment of LeBaron McAdoo to the Tourism Advisory Board?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have an item for discussion that we will be going into closed session. So we will need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Mayor, we have to cite on the record the sections of the statute that authorize the going into closed session. Frank, if you just read in your motion the two KRS references.
On the agenda.
Move that pursuant to KRS 61.8101B for discussions concerning deliberations on the future acquisition or sale of real property when publicity would be likely to affect the value of property and pursuant to KRS 61.8101C for discussions of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of a public agency.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We will move to the back room here for closed session, and then we will be back out in just a few minutes.
Have a vote.
Favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're gonna move to the back. We'll be right
Here, let me get my.
All right, do we have a motion to come out of closed session?
Mayor, I make a motion, we return from closed session.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Right. At this time, we do have the item for discussion.
At this time, Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to give you permission to authorize and to enter an agreement to purchase property not to exceed appraised value.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. The last order of business is an adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We stand adjourned. Thank you all very much.